Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. 1 year later, President Ali still to show findings of ExxonMobil audits. International watchdog says governments must show how these exercises benefit citizens. 77-year-old man perishes in fire after saving family. Housing Ministry employee stabs man with key after minor accident. Foul thief killed after cutlass battle with watchman. Bandit knocked into gutter after robbing woman remanded, and TIGI member blasts government for secrecy in pollutants in Liza oil and gas. Meanwhile, Venezuelans held with illegal guns near Black Banana. GRA warns against cheating on waived freight taxes, and appeal court reduces jail sentence for Nisa Gopal killers. Mother and ex-lover now to serve 45 years each in prison. Stay tuned to stay informed.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel summer rush.
Start topping up now.
Guyana, please join me on the Glenn Lal Show, 99.1, 99.5 FM, Kaieteur Radio, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:20 p.m., and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m., just in case you miss that program.
And now for the news in detail. Since assuming office on August 2nd of 2020, the Irfan Ali-led administration is yet to disclose to the citizenry the findings of 2 crucial audits that were conducted on ExxonMobil spending. The first audit was done on the $460 million the American oil giant claimed was expended prior to 2015 for exploration, while the second audit relates to over $1 billion in expenses racked up from 2015 to 2017 for the development of the Liza Phase 1 operations. While the findings of the audit remain unavailable for public scrutiny, the international watchdog, the Center for Public Integrity, insists that it is critical for governments to show citizens the extent to which cost recovery audits are successful in helping to save the country millions of dollars. CPI noted in one of its analysis that this is a common practice when nations undertake cost recovery audits. The group explained that cost recovery is a mechanism which allows oil companies to recoup their costs directly from a portion of the petroleum produced. CPI was keen to note that the process, however, creates strong incentives for oil companies to inflate expenses and, in some cases, input costs that are ineligible or have nothing to do with the operations. And moving on, an employee attached to the Ministry of Housing reportedly lost his cool on Monday and stabbed a broken arm fisherman to his neck with a key following a minor accident along the Vlasingen Road in the vicinity of the Square of the Revolution. Not only did he brutally assault a man whose arm was still in a sling, but also snatched the fisherman's cell phone. The fisherman, Nankishore Raghunath, said that the man attacked him around 16 hours 30, and to date he has not received his cell phone. Raghunath claimed that he was driving his wagon along the driving lane turning onto Homestretch Avenue, but the traffic light located at the intersection turned red. As a result, continued Raghunath, the car rolled forward and jammed the rear end of a black Toyota Hilux pickup driven by the employee. According to the fisherman, the employee stepped out of the pickup very angrily. The ministry's employee ran up to his car and grabbed his phone from his lap before stabbing him to his neck with a key. And the sad news, an early morning fire yesterday claimed the life of an elderly man who met his demise after he saved his family but turned back to retrieve his belongings. The deceased has been identified as 77-year-old Angold Thompson of John Street and Stone Avenue, Camberville. Thompson was a well-known photographer and former general manager at the Guyana National Printers Limited. According to reports received, the fire started at 1 hour 57 at the victim's residence. Before the arrival of the fire service, Thompson managed to save his wife and grandchildren from the fire. He then returned inside the burning home to retrieve some personal belongings, but got trapped in the building and sadly lost his life. An unofficial cause of the fire was given as an overheated fan motor, which ignited and caught nearby combustible materials. And now let's tell you, Alfred Boulay, a member of the Transparency Institute Guyana Incorporated, or TIGI, recently criticized the government over secrecy in relation to the composition of the oil and gas produced from the Liza field. In a letter published by Kaieteur News, Boulay said TIGI made inquiries but was told by ExxonMobil's local subsidiary, Esso, that it should ask the government for the analysis of the oil and gas from the wells. Despite being called out on this matter, the government has let an entire week pass without explaining why it has not released the information requested by TIGI on the oil and gas compositions. Earlier this month, President Ali claimed the government has been transparent in its management of the oil industry. And moving on, import companies are being warned by GRA not to engage in any form of manipulation of tax relief measures on freight put into effect by President Ali earlier this month. According to a notice issued by GRA, some import companies have been manipulating the tax relief measures put in place to reduce and revert freight charges to pre-pandemic levels. GRA noted that some areas of manipulation that have been discerned so far include the misrepresentation of invoice dates to reflect dates after August 1, 2021, even though goods were shipped prior to that date. The tax body noted too that local importers have been manipulating invoices that reflect only the freight on board and not the prices of cost, insurance, and freight. Further, the Revenue Authority found that persons were producing invoices that reflected lower prices of commodities and higher freight charges. As a result, GRA is urging importers to be compliant and supply the correct invoices to the agency. And moving on, a member of the Guyana Police Force who was caught in a sting operation collecting money from a criminal suspect's relative on Monday made his second court appearance and was released on bail. Corporal O'Mail Damon appeared before Senior Magistrate Leron Dilly in the Georgetown Magistrates Court, and when the matter was called, he used the opportunity to make a bail application to the court, which was granted by the magistrate. The defendant was granted bail in the sum of $50,000 in each charge, and the matter was adjourned to October 11th. It was reported that he was slapped with 3 counts of corruption transaction. According to information, Damon had collected a total of $400,000 from the relative of a suspect for the release of the suspect, who was in custody for the possession of a firearm. Moreover, he was also charged for collecting an additional $80,000. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. A man who was caught stealing chicken from a farm at Perseverance, Providence, on the east bank of Demerara died on Monday morning after he was chopped by a watchman. Around 3 hours, the guard was awakened by noises coming from a chicken pen, and upon making checks, he saw several persons moving in the pen. The guard then armed himself with a cutlass, blocked their exit, and told the men to put the chickens back. However, two of the suspects whipped out a cutlass and a hammer and rushed towards the watchman, who managed to dodge the blows. In return, the watchman chopped one of the suspects. The suspects were then rushed to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where one of them was pronounced dead on arrival. And now let's tell you, 35-year-old Junior Stewart, a graphic designer of Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown, who was reportedly knocked into the gutter by a businesswoman after he allegedly robbed her on Monday, made his first court appearance and was remanded to prison. Stewart appeared before Magistrate Sunil Skiers in the Diamond Grove Magistrates Court. He denied the charge, which alleges that on August 27th, while being armed and in the company of others, he robbed Charmaine Di Mendonca. According to police, the defendant and his accomplices allegedly stole $1,500 and 290,000 Ghana dollars and other items. And moving on, Region 1 police on Monday detained two Venezuelan men after they were found walking along the Black Banana Access Trail with two illegal shotguns. Black Banana is a mining area located some miles away from Matthews Ridge in the Northwest District. According to police reports, the men were held with the weapons around 13 hours 30. Ranks from that district were at the time carrying out a mobile patrol along the Black Banana Access Trail when they spotted the men walking along the trail with the weapons wrapped in transparent plastic. In other news, the Court of Appeal yesterday upheld the guilty verdict for Bibi Sharima Gopal and her former lover Jarvis Small in relation to the murder of her 16-year-old daughter, Nisa Gopal. The appeal court bench, led by Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonit Cummings-Edwards, Justices of Appeal Rishi Prasad and Don Gregory, delivered the ruling on the duo's application to have their conviction and combined 206 years jail sentence set aside. While the court found no reason upon which their conviction could be set aside, it held that trial judge Navindra Singh erred in imposing the lengthy jail sentences. As such, the court substituted the 106 years jail sentence handed to Gopal and 96 years jail sentence imposed on her younger ex-lover, Small, to 45 years of imprisonment each. Additionally, the murder convicts were given no credit for time spent in pre-trial custody, given the aggravating circumstances in the case. Rather, Justice Cummings-Edwards underscored the gruesome manner in which the victim, who was only 16 when she met her demise, this included the extent of her injuries she received, the manner in which her body was disposed, and the fact that she was killed by persons close to her. And now for your COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health reported that 9 persons who contracted COVID-19 have died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 622. Further, the ministry, via its COVID-19 dashboard, recorded 145 new infections, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 25,548. Presently, there are 33 patients admitted in the ICU, 99 in institutional isolation, 1,776 in home isolation, and 6 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 23,018 persons who tested positive for the virus have recovered. A UN advisor and Assistant Secretary General to its climate action team has called for global governments to take bolder, ambitious actions to combat climate change for achieving net zero emissions in the near future. We have news for advisor Selwyn Hart. He is wasting his time with any call to the government of Guyana. He should share this insistence about no delays, no excuses elsewhere, because Guyana's leaders are not listening. They don't like that kind of talk. Don't want to hear anything along those lines. Climate change means slowing down the gravy train that gives them money. They are so greedy that they grab even that from poor Guyanese. Climate change. Don't talk such nonsense here, brother. Guyana's leaders don't care. It cuts into their action. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today